All right, y'all. Thank you guys for joining me back for another episode. And yes, today I have another lovely guest with me. This person is you are a guest, but you're not a stranger to Chronicles of a Virgo podcast because you have graced my platform before with your beautiful presence. I want to introduce you all again to Awny from All In with Awny Podcast. How are you doing today, friend?
I'm good. How are you, friend?
I'm so excited about this. Like, I just love talking to you. I
Yeah.
am so happy. Thank you for joining me and coming to talk to me and my lovely supporters.
hmm
Because, as I always say, we got some things to get into.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Yes. So, before we start, um, New Year, we still going to do some things from 2022. So, we're going to keep our little mental health checks going. So, friend, on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your mental health right now? So 5 would be, you're feeling good. And 1 will be more so like, I'm not feeling the best. I need some extra porn, but I'm okay and I'm managing.
I would give myself a 3. Uh,
Okay.
yes, 2023 came in real strong for me, and I had hit a little rough patch as far as like friends and having the people around me, but I'm managing, I'm navigating through it like I do anything else, and I always say that Ani is going to come back full force and better than I was.
Yes, yes. And I did hear your most recent episode and it touched me. So just know that you always have a friend in me, whether
Oh,
we're virtual, distant, whatever. Like I love you so much. And I'm sorry that, things are not, I'm not going to say things are starting off bad for you for the year. They're just, things are expanding and elevating. And
yeah,
sometimes with that change, some layers gotta fall off.
correct, correct. That's right.
But we're gonna fill that cup of yours up. So
Yeah.
my mental health today on a scale of 1 to 5 is a 5.
Yay!
Yes, it's a long time coming. I feel good. My new year, I broke my new year in very peaceful. I'm not one to be like out partying. I want to be safe and I want to be warm. You know, so like it was very peaceful. I had very good intentions coming into the year
Okay.
compared to like how 2022 did me. So I've been okay. I've been managing really well, and I just want to affirm that I'm going to continue to be this way throughout the rest of this year.
Right. That's good.
Yeah, and I do these mental health checks because this is nothing unfamiliar to myself that I do on a daily basis in my personal life. But I want to also continue to encourage other people to take the time out of your day, whether it's 5, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever, just to check in with yourself, have that inner dialogue, see how you're really feeling.
hmm
And I adopted something else new. I was talking about it with my therapist is in those moments, see where your body is feeling tense at. Is it your stomach? Your chest, your neck, if you're feeling any discomfort, and then try to get down to what is causing it because each area of our bodies represents something.
Right.
I don't want to get into all that, but
hmm
soon we'll talk about it later in the future.
Yes.
But yeah, just continue to check in with yourself mentally, make sure you're okay. And if you need someone to talk to, like I say, my DMs are always open. We can
Yes.
navigate some things together, find you some support, but I'm always here and I'm pretty sure there's someone else waiting to hear from you as well.
That's right. Yes.
Yes, so again, thank you guys for joining us on this episode. And we have a very, I'm going to say lovely topic.
hmm
I'm excited to talk about this. Some people may be like, ugh, I don't want to talk about that. When it comes to this specific area, it's kind of up and down, right? 50, 50, 50. I hear a lot of people talk about it in a good way and a negative way. And we go and try to bring things full circle. And I never want to always jump out the gate and do things from a book stance. So of course, everything is based upon our opinions. We're not doctors. We're not, psychologists or anything like that. It's just from an
Right.
opinionated stance, right? So the topic for today, we're talking about the power of forgiveness.
hmm
Oh, forgiveness.
hmm
Now, when you hear the word forgiveness, Ani, what comes to mind?
When I hear the word forgiveness, the first thing that comes to mind is moving past what it is that's been done to you to get to a greater place in your life.
Mm.
So that's the things that comes to my mind when forgiveness is being brought up. I always say that I got to forgive to live, because if I don't forgive you, it's like me drinking poison and expecting you to die.
Oh, yes, yes.
So I
Ex-
have to forgive you to live so I can move past whatever you've done to me. I can live a peaceful life for me, and I can get past that traumatic situation or traumatic experience.
Definitely. And I love your analogy you use. It's like me drinking poison, expecting you to die from it. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times I feel like we hold on to things so much, thinking that, I need to see you hurt or I need to see something happen to you when that person is out just living their life. You know what I'm saying? And we're the ones that's really suffering because we have all this heartache and anguish and just bad thoughts and feelings, and the other person is not even worried about us. When
Mm-hmm.
I think of forgiveness now, I think of freedom, because I think, in my opinion, forgiveness is a part of setting yourself free, releasing yourself from whatever barriers of hurt, trauma, or experiences that you have endured or someone has inflicted onto you. And not holding yourself hostage to that
Mm-hmm.
person or experience. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you could define forgiveness from your own like thought process definition, how would you personally define forgiveness?
I would define forgiveness as accepting an apology that wasn't given to you or you feel like wasn't genuine towards you when they gave it. I think that's when you really get to your place of forgiveness, when you say, okay, I don't really care what is being said from this point on. I don't care what you're saying to people about the situation. I'm not going to explain myself. I'm not even about to rectify the situation. I'm not clearing anything up. In 2023, I'm not clearing anything up. You
Period.
feel how you feel and you're going to always speak on what it is your truth might be. But forgiveness is really accepting that everyone isn't sorry.
Mm.
Everyone isn't apologetic. They're not remorseful for doing anything to you or inflicting pain upon you. So just move past it and accept the apology that you'll never get.
Yeah, and I think it's important. Like for me, I always would expect apologies when people wrong me, right? But then now that I gotten older, I'm like, how do I even know that they were even sorry to
Mm-hmm.
begin with? You know what I'm saying? Some people just, I feel like, apologize because they're forced into a position where they have to make it sound right. Like, let
Right.
me make it
Right.
sound good, so I'm going to say I am, but deep down inside, like I really don't mean this,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And when I think of like how I would define forgiveness outside of just setting yourself free of whatever has transpired against you, I would look at it like being able to let go of what was and stepping into what you want to create or how you
Mm-hmm.
want something to be. And
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by that is that goes dealing with people outside of ourselves and ourselves. Because I think some people forget that like we have to, there is something called self forgiveness. You know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think for a lot of us, that's the most hardest part, to forgive yourself from acting a certain type of way or even allowing someone to mistreat you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the whole accountability talk comes in, and we know how that works. Everyone is not at the point where they're mature already enough to even take accountability for their actions. And I think it can look like many different things. So like can you think of a situation or something in your life that's happened where you've had to forgive someone or just really process your thoughts to get to that point of forgiveness?
Okay, so I'm gonna be extremely transparent.
Let's go.
Um, I had to the biggest person or the person I had to forgive the most was my husband.
Mm.
When we first got together, I was head over heels for him and he was head over heels for me. But life and his past traumas and things like that caused him to do certain things that I didn't particularly like, and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. And in order, because I knew I loved him, I love him extremely, and in any relationship, it's going to be some mistakes, there's going to be some shortcomings and all that stuff. But I kind of internalize things, and I kind of like, if I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive. I am a cookie. I'm hard around the edges, but I'm soft in the middle.
Like putty.
And
That's what I
yes.
like to say. Like putty.
So I'm like, I'm so sensitive. So you can say the wrong things to me and my feelings are hurt. So I had to really like forgive him because I knew that I love him. I know that I love him. And I know that I want to spend the rest of my life with him. But how do I get past the things you've done, the things you said, the route you went about what you did and how you did it and the tone you did it in? So I had to really step back and say, okay, Ani, you say you love him. You say this is going to be the man that you marry and you have children with. How is it, can you live a life of freedom and love and happiness if you're holding resentment and you're holding these things against him? So I had to really stop and say, okay, I forgive you. And I had to lay it all on the table and tell him, listen, this is what I've been holding against you. I forgive you for this. I forgive you for that. And I forgive you for X, Y, and Z. So we can really move on and really, this is before we got married, and really get married so that we can live a life, because I don't want to bring my children in the world and we are still navigating through our issues. I want
Yeah.
us to be over them, past them, so when our children see us, they see a healthy couple, and they see a couple that they might want to, have in their future when they grow up and want to have children and get married and things like that. So I had to really forgive him for like the little stupid things that happens in relationships that I internalize and I kind of like over exaggerate or, you know, irrationalize it, just really in my mind and thinking.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for being vulnerable enough to even speak on it and
Yes,
trusting me with that information and now the supporters that are listening.
I trust you guys.
Yes, because I know like I ain't never been married. Close to it, but I ain't never get there. But relationships is one of the, I feel like the toughest places where people have to really learn the true meaning of forgiveness. It's just so many different encounters I can think about. But shout out to y'all for like working through that and
Mm,
then creating that solid foundation. So when the babies did start rolling in, we
yeah, right.
strong. So yes, I can definitely understand that. I think for me, besides like the whole like relationships and friendships when it like comes to forgiveness and things like that, I learned the mindset or process of forgiveness at a very young age. And here we go, being vulnerable. Let's talk about it, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because as I've mentioned before, like I was sexually abused at a young age.
Wow.
And I remember when everything finally came out and all that stuff, like I would have these flashbacks and like different moments. And it wasn't the fact that I wanted my abuser to hurt, but I didn't understand why I was hurting so much emotionally.
Mm.
And I was so confused. And this person was like freely living their life and nothing was happening because they did not get a long enough jail sentence.
Right,
It was
right.
a slap on the wrist and then you're a registered sex offender tier 3, but otherwise you're freely able to go out in the world and maneuver however you choose to. And
Mm-hmm,
I have all this emotional damage and mental damage. And one
mm-hmm.
thing that my mom said, she was like, you have to forgive because God forgives us for everything that we do. But you
Right.
don't never have to forget what a person has done to you. And I was like, okay, well, I forgive him. Like because like you said, God, this is what God said I gotta do,
Mhm.
how all the
Right, right.
the church,
Say no more. Say no.
and I'm not saying that, Man, Ani, we see hell when it comes to like
Yeah.
the biblical
Mhm.
beliefs and standpoints. Not saying that it's not a good teaching, it is, but to get further in depth with it, like you would think that forgiveness is a walk in the park. Like, okay, I'm gonna just say I forgive you and I'm gonna be okay. Absolutely not. It's a process to it, right? So what
Yes.
they don't tell you is when forgiving a person or like getting to the decision to say, you know what, I forgive you for inflicting this pain or hurting me.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to take that to God and say, hey, God, I'm handing this over to you. I forgive this person for doing these things to me. And now I need you to give me the strength and the guidance to move forward and pass all that stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because I can't continue to carry the weight of these situations on my shoulders.
Right, right.
Right. And what I learned was the longer you hold on to any type of hurt and just abandonment and all that stuff, it just continues to fester and live deep in your body. And that's when we start having like all the different health problems and illnesses. All
Mm-hmm.
these different things start to happen. And then, I mean, hey, to each his own. You could think that
Right.
things just happen coincidentally. I don't think like that. You know, like there's literally scientific facts out here that will
Mm-hmm.
correlate different emotions and health issues together. And
Right.
you know, hurt and heartbreak is definitely one. But anyway,
Yep. And stress. Stress
yes,
is the
stress,
main
because
killer. Mm-hmm.
those things turn into stress, and stress is definitely a silent killer, right?
Yep.
So I, at a young age, like I was told that I had to do it. So like I became very passive in life, though. Like
Mm-hmm.
gotta be careful because I would feel like, okay, well, if I forgive this person or these people, then I have to have them around because I said I forgive you. You know, that is not how it works.
It's
I
not.
learned that just because of you can forgive, but that does not open the door for more engagement in relationships, friendships,
Right.
because you still have to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think especially those of us who were raised in the church and stuff like that, the main misconception when it comes to forgiveness is that Jesus forgave us or God forgave us and we don't miss a beat. That's we and our creator. We don't miss a beat when he forgives us, right? That does not apply to mankind because
talk about it.
if the trauma is really deep rooted and you have inflicted some pain upon me that if I have to go to counseling for it, I'm not going to talk to you ever again. Now, I
Yes.
may forgive you. When I see you, I may not want to kill you or beat you up, but that does not mean I have to say, oh, you molested me last week. I forgive you. Let's go get some lunch. No, it's not like that. Because when the abusee are constantly around the abuser, it's hard for them to heal. That's like walking on a broken leg. You cannot do it. It's going to be hard for that ankle, that bone to really heal because you're irritating it. When I'm around somebody that has caused me a lot of traumatic experiences, it is irritating the wound that they caused me. And I'm not like God.
No, at all. And like you know, I mean, we can to a sense be supernatural. However, it is not our job to forgive and move the way that God does.
It does. It's not. It's not our job.
It's not, and I think you know the lines become a little blurred between the biblical teachings, whether it's forgiveness, what it means to be married, submissive, like all that. The lines become blurred, and people will make excuses just to fit their own narrative.
Correct.
That ain't how it works, you know? And I love the fact that you brought up if I have to go to therapy or something to heal from you and forgive you, then there's no more access, right?
There's no more access.
Up until last year, honestly, like when I got in with the therapist I'm with now was when I really realized that. And it was a hard pill to swallow because like I wanted to, you know, I just want to have people around, especially if you've been there for years. Yeah, friends are going to go through stuff, but I like knew that some people I had around or I've dealt with in the past, things that they have done, like, nah, you don't have no place with me anymore.
Right,
like
right.
we can really be cool on social media because I want you to see me shine. I ain't just say that. But at the same time, like full access to me is a privilege, and you done lost that. You know, so because it's a job, like it is a job. You know, I feel like healing in itself is like a job. Like we should be getting paid for this shit, honestly.
I need to find the quickest person who's ready to pay me for this because I've been on this journey for a long time.
Yes, like I be trying to think sometimes, like compared to where I used to be, where I'm at now. Like, why is it so hard to just? Why is it hard for people to forgive? You know, because I look at it like this. I'm not saying that I'm a saint. You know, I can come in front of people all the time on this microphone. You can hear me weekly, see me on social media. And I, you know, just because I post certain things don't mean that I don't and cannot hold myself accountable for mistakes that I have made in the past, right? Even mistakes that I may make now. Like, we're human. We're gonna do stuff. But it's a lot easier for me to forgive people, depending on what you do. It's just a lot easier for me to deal with people in general because I know what my worth is. Like, why do you feel like a lot of people struggle when it comes to like being able to forgive someone that has wronged them?
I think I think it's hard because when somebody do something to you, it's the nature that you want revenge or you want them to hurt just as much, if not more, than what they made you hurt. Absolutely. And I think when the bitterness comes in, because it's the bitterness that is causing you not to forgive. So the bitterness comes in that your mind says, how she just did something to me yesterday, but she had lunch today and she's sleeping good at night. You know, like she's taking trips, but she really inflicted some real pain upon me. I want her to hurt like I hurt. That's when the bitterness comes, and it's hard because you cannot hold a revengeful heart, and you cannot say, I want them to hurt as much as I hurt, and then turn around and say, I think I can forgive them. You can't do the same thing. So I think it's hard because we're holding on to this bitterness. We're holding on to this, and even it's a little bit of envious because you're like, I know you ain't shining, and you just you just
being trifling.
Yeah, you was trifling to me. And then you look at God like, how?
Exactly.
How is it? You know, and I think that's why it's hard because we hold on to our bitterness, and honestly, bitterness feels good.
It's like that toxic positivity, like not the one that the internet be talking about, but it's like a comfortable space. Because I'm gonna be completely honest, like I was that person. You hurt me, oh baby, I have to get you back 10 times better. I need you to feel what I feel plus more, right? And I ain't gonna lie, I would not physically harm people. My words can cut you more than anything, you know. So like maybe I will say certain things or word things a certain way, but sometimes even just having like a nonchalant demeanor is enough to like kill a person's spirit. Like, you know, like I hate when people act like that towards me. Like, why are you doing that? You know? But but then what I had to personally realize was I'm out here trying to get revenge, right? I'm coming for you. I want to see blood, right? Not literal, but you know, I want to see blood. And if I do inflict some hurt back and I get you, it's not going to take back what the hell you done did to me. And I'm the type of person, I'm just like you. I am pure putty. Like I am. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. Like I just have a soft spot for just people, a certain type of person I do, but just people in general. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I never was like that before. I was, but I wasn't. And I always say, if I ever have to hurt a person, it is going to hurt me more because that's not something I really wanted to do. Like I don't leave my life from a place of malice. And a malicious intent to go out and harm and just be evil, you know?
Right.
So
Right.
if I gotta come back and cut you, then it's gonna kill me. You know what I'm saying? Then I gotta turn this around now. I gotta forgive myself.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like personally self forgiveness is more difficult than it is forgiving just anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of that is because we don't want to take accountability because we did what we did, and at the time it was right, and we don't need nobody to tell us we was wrong for acting how we acted, for saying the things that we said. Like, no, I needed to do that. Well, did you really? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And even to look at yourself in that negative light, I always say when you got to turn the mirror back on yourself and it's just you and you, and
Mm-hmm.
you realize, like, well, damn, I really was not that friendly of a person, or I really did make some bad decisions. It's like, whose fault is it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know? So, like, it's nothing probably for me to forgive someone else. Like I said, it always depends on what the circumstances was.
Mm-hmm.
But I have always been more harder on myself. And I feel like that's so backwards.
It is backwards, but I'm the complete same way. I am so hard on myself. It's times where I have to really like, if it was three of me and two of me were fighting, I had to play the one that breaks the two of me up, because some days I'm like, Awny, you should have accomplished this by now. Like, you should have done this differently, or you would have had this, or you would have blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it's like you sit in your defeat and forfeit your victory because you're worried about what you didn't do and not what you should do in the future. And I think it's harder to forgive ourselves is accountability, for one. And two, we feel like we're justified because we were the one that was hurt. And even though it's justifiable, the act is justifiable, doesn't mean it needed to be done. So at that point, yeah, because you hit me or because you said something that really, hurt me, in return say something back that really hurt you. Now you have two hurt people in the situation. And when you're hurt and triggered, you're not hearing, oh, you shouldn't have done that. When I'm triggered, I'm not hearing, Awny, you shouldn't have said it that way, because I'm justifiable. I'm justified in my action, but it doesn't mean I should have done it.
Yes.
It's easy. It's easy to fire back and be, somebody said, you ugly. Well, you ugly too. Well, you never know. And then it goes, forgiving yourself really have to form, you really have to form the compassion for the other person, So sometimes what people do to us really don't have anything to do with us. It has nothing to do with us. We were just collateral damage. We were just the one that just caught in the crossfire. I always say, sometimes it ain't you. It's really because you were in the way and they saw you as a target. It had nothing to do with you. And I think we personalize and we internalize a lot of things. And when we realize and have compassion for other people and say, you know what, maybe they didn't have a good day, or maybe they didn't have a good week or a good life. Maybe their mom wasn't really good to them. So now they don't know how to be good to other people. And I'm not saying sit there and be a punching bag or, a doormat and allow people to do anything to you. But I say step back and really see the root of what is done to you.
Yes. I love that so much. I love that so much. And you made so many great points. And one that I want to like beam in on is giving people compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Giving people compassion and grace for that.
And grace.
And I feel like a lot of times it's harder for some people because let's be real. If you don't heal those wounds and that pain, hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you intentionally go out and you have a goal to hurt someone, 9 times out of 10, if you're triggered by something that someone else does or said, and it triggers something that has happened to you years ago and you never addressed that, you're going to respond in an aggressive and hurtful manner,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I think that's why, it's important for everybody to go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody. I do know therapy ain't for everyone. However, there are ways that you can work on your own self-development, work on your coping skills, find out what your triggers are so that when these things are heightened later on in life, you won't lash out at other people and make other people victims to your problems, And I think that's really important. If we as humans lead more from a space of understanding, compassion, and grace, right? Lead, and realize that, like, I'm big on energy. Like, if I want you to respond a certain way to me, I'm going to come at you how I want you to respond to me. Like, I understand that everyone can't live a life of love and light. Trust me, I don't either. But I do pride myself on being understanding. If, like you said, a person, maybe they're not having a good day. Okay, I'm not going to get offended and take this personal, because, baby, let me tell you, I used to personalize everything. Okay, and now to the point where, like, I'm like, okay, let me sit with this for a little bit. Let me see if their behavior and their demeanor change up, because, like you said, a lot of times how other people respond has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with them. But see, me, just because I'm the person I am, I like to sit and just observe. And I'm like, hey, are you okay? It's not me coming like, hey, did I do something to you? Because, baby, listen, that people pleasing sometimes will kick in. Like, did I do something? Can I fix it?
Right.
Chiquita, you didn't do anything. Okay, just making sure. Like, so I think if people just really get down to the bottom of things and the wounds that they need to address appropriately, then their responses and the way they treat people will be a lot different. A lot differently.
True. I'm gonna tell this story. I went to I think it was like either a McDonald's or Wendy's, and this girl was so rude to me. Like, she was just rude. She talked really hard to me, and at first I was like, "Who is this bitch that she playing?" Like, who is she playing with? I get out of this car and go in there and find her. Like,
it's always Wendy's, man. Like,
either Wendy's or McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I asked her, I said, "Are you okay today?" And she was like, "Yes, I'm okay." I mean, being real rude. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to, I'm not going to really get into it with you. But I really, told her, like, I really didn't like the way you acted towards me. You could have calmed down a little bit. I understand, it might be rush hour. I used to work at McDonald's too, so I understand when it's crunch time and you got the managers yelling at you. But you always have to keep your face. So that's all I had to say. She said, I've been working since 6 a.m. I think it was like 4. She was out working since 6 a.m. I'm tired. I really want to go home. Da 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 da. And then I realized, like, I was really about to go there with her, and it had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with her manager scheduling her longer than what she was supposed to be there. And she's irritated, she's irritable, and she's ready to go home. She's tired. She's been there since 6 o'clock that morning. I'll be tired too. And then I had to realize the days I used to work at McDonald's, going in at 4 o'clock in the morning, not getting off till 6 and 7 o'clock that night because you got so many people calling out and you can't get off the clock because nobody's coming into work and they don't want to shut down because they want to keep making money. I get it, So I think when we realize, like, let me put myself in your shoes. How would I feel if I was sitting at work till 6 o'clock in the morning? It's about 5 in the afternoon, and somebody come up to me telling me I need to fix my attitude. I would want to snap too,
Yeah, especially a lot of them places like that are underpaid, and I've never worked in like fast food like that. I worked at Auntie Anne's in high school. But customer service is customer service.
Right,
You know,
right, right.
a lot of people, they going, that whole misconception about disrespect is met with disrespect. Like, no, we can't always
Mm-hmm,
be
mm-hmm.
within them parameters. Like, you have to be professional or just maintain a certain level of professionalism.
Right.
Luckily, with my job, I have the option to say, okay, ma'am or sir, if you continue to say or curse, I'm going to discontinue this call. And they're like, you're going to hang up on me? Yes, click. Like, yeah, it's like no tolerance. And you
I'm
know,
not doing it. I'm not
yeah,
doing
but at the same time, it's like when you're, I don't know, because when you're at certain places, like, you know, certain like customer service, like, they will act a certain way because they
it.
do have the upper hand over you. I got what you want. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you're gonna be, you know what? Let me just swallow my pride for a
Mm-hmm.
second because this person might spit in my food.
Right, right, right,
No,
right.
just do anything. But like you said, like, you, I feel like you even acknowledging to her the fact that you recognize that her attitude was on a like 100 probably meant a lot to her later. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people just need to vent.
Yeah, they need that. Are you okay? If you ask me, am I okay, and I'm not okay, I'm going to say yes and break down in tears, you know? And because you asked me means so much to me that I'm going to say, yeah, I may not be okay, but my crying says, I'm really not okay, but I thank you so much for really asking. You don't even have to know what the issue is. I don't even have to tell you. But because you asked me, am I okay? I'm like, yes, I'm okay.
No, like that. No, that's real. Like, I got a story, but I got a story. Um, so forgiveness. What would you say would be some benefits to being able to be in the space of forgiveness, having a forgiving heart,
I
whether
would
it's with yourself or someone else?
I would say life. Life is I had to remove my headphones in because it kept sliding. Life, I think the one of the benefits is life and living comfortably and like in a peace. Because when you don't have a forgiving heart, you're constantly worried about what that person is doing. Like, I wonder what he doing. He just knocked me upside my head last week. I wonder what he doing. Or I wonder what my uncle doing because when I was younger, he was my molester. You know, I wonder what he's doing right now. Like, how could he live a good life? And I'm over here holding on. And that's really what it is. Like, you're saying without saying it. How can they live a good life and I'm over here struggling with what they put on me?
Yeah, so it opens up free, like that freedom, like I
Mhm.
was saying, and it releases the worry,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's
Mm-hmm.
just like the saying, let go and let God.
That's
and
right.
and I laughed because that shit is so true. Like, once you get to the place of being able to fully or partially just work your way through the
Mm-hmm.
process of releasing something,
Mm-hmm.
and with release comes some type of forgiveness, whether it's to yourself or the other person, you know, because having to live a life carrying all of those burdens and hurt, it becomes very damaging to the mental health and the body in itself. Any relationships you have after whomever hurt you or
Mm-hmm.
whatever happened to you, it all of those things dictate how your life is going to pan out one way or the other. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the ugly truth that I realized through therapy. Like, again, I had been in therapy since 2017, but my first therapist really did not take me there up until last
Mm-hmm.
year. My new therapist, we be getting into some things, okay, and
Yes.
we address that trauma. And again, addressing certain things and certain experiences is not always a happy picture, but I promise you,
Mm-hmm.
when you do
Mm-hmm.
the work the right
When you
way,
do it, yes.
when you do the work the right way,
Yes.
it opens up so much more peace,
It does.
joy, just you see life differently, and that's probably why I'm the way that I am about a lot of different things. And I know people probably be like, "There's no way you can always respond this positively or always." You know, this is like if you talk to me on a personal level, then you know, like what you get is what you get.
Yep.
Otherwise, like I'm human, so I go through human emotions and stuff. However, I'm just able to when situations are placed on my path or people do things to me, I'm able to respond differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm able to really respond differently because I always think, and maybe this is self-centered, but like, how would I want somebody to respond to me?
Mm-hmm.
How do I want people to treat me? Well, you know what? Let me continue showing up each day, my true authentic self, and expecting everyone to address me as such. And then it's
Right.
just going to be a continuation of positivity.
Mm-hmm.
Not always how it plans out to be, but I don't want to live a life of holding on to hurt. And if it means that I have to not necessarily force myself to forgive someone, I'm going to do what I have to do for the betterment of me because that's who it's ultimately about. It's about you.
Yeah, that's it. That's true.
You know? And again, like you said, when you get to the point of really doing it, it frees you of a lot of different things.
Yes. And when you are have a forgiving heart or you're healing, you think better, you feel better,
You look better, the edges
you
come
look
back.
better. Right, they come back like they never left. Who wants to be walking around with this heavy weight on their chest or on their shoulders, like me holding on to whatever you placed on me? It's not for me, so it's too heavy for me, and I'm not carrying it. So I have to release that. I don't care what you do in 2023. Anyone who's listening to my voice, release what those people have done to you, because it's not what they've done to you, it's how you respond and how you take what they have done to you and you make it work. There are people out here that took their traumas and they made multi-million-dollar businesses and
Okay.
nonprofits and stuff like that. So take what is done to you and really make it work for you. Show the person who did it, if they apologize, if they didn't, show them like, listen, you did that, that's okay, because what you did bringing me some coins, I'm healed. It don't bother me no more, and I can make money off of it. I'm profiting off of what you did to me. And that's the greatest revenge, is to say, I'm past what you did. You can't hold me hostage, or what you've done to me don't hold me hostage. I'm going to keep on moving. I'm going to keep on pressing with my life, and I'm going to always be the best me.
I love that. And just to piggyback, I like to think of it like this. And I don't know. Again, when you start to get to a certain level of healing, you start to see life differently. You know, these last couple of months for me, I wanted to just walk with God totally different, right? And I brought that into the new year, and I thank God for that. Like everyone's healing or spiritual journey is their own, and I feel like a lot of times we tend to forget about God a little bit, you know, and we feel like he forgot about us, you know. But what I have learned more these last couple months is God will use the worst heartache, the worst pain, the worst experience to bring you out on top, to like elevate in some type of success, some type of just something that you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, I wasn't shit, or I felt like shit down there, and that particular thing was the stepping stone for me to get where I'm going or where I'm at, you know. And unfortunately, sometimes they do take those experiences, you know. And my mom always used to tell me that when I was going through everything I went through after it came out about my sexual abuse, you can't, like, I'm a teenager at the time. She's like, don't worry about it. You're gonna be good. And she still to this day always says that, and I'd be like, no, I'm not. But she was right. She's like, you're going to use this experience, and it's going to help other people. And I used to think like, how is this? want to
Mm-hmm.
help someone else. And then look at what I'm doing now. So I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing, God. Just keep working in my favor and we good, you know?
Yes.
So like Ani said, whoever is out there that's going through something, whether you're struggling in your healing journey or in your forgiveness journey, someone has wronged you, whatever the case is, you're struggling with your own self-forgiveness. Give yourself the grace and compassion that you tend to give other people, because we tend to do that a lot. It's easy for us to be so loving and supportive for everyone else, but when it comes to ourselves, it's just like, whatever. No, give it to yourself and take each day a day at a time, and wake up each day expecting something better,
Yes. Yes.
expecting to elevate, expecting to make some positive progress within your journey, because what you
Mm-hmm.
expect and prepare for is what is going to be granted to you.
That's
Woo!
right. Oh, yes. That's
I
good.
just felt that in my bones. I just got hot. I
That
just
was good.
I just got hot with that one. Maybe that was a message for myself. But
I
no.
think that's a message for everyone. You know, you have to make room for the things that you want in your life.
Oh yeah.
If you want it, make room for it, and I guarantee it's coming.
Absolutely.
I am a big faith person. I bought my, I told Cedric, I said, this year we're going to have children. So what we did was we went to the store and we bought baby clothes for our firstborn. We got his name. We already know how how he's coming. He's coming with this and that and a car seat. We already
Yes.
got these things. You have to make room. Having a second bedroom and using it as my office. No, I have to put nursery things in here so I can get what it is that I'm making room for. You want a new car? I promise you. My mama told me this a long time ago. If you want something new, get something for it before it
Mm.
comes. My mama bought her a keychain and said that that was the keychain her new house keys was going to be on.
Mm-hmm.
In a matter of 2 years, 2 or 3 years, we were in our new house.
Amen.
I did the same thing. I said, okay, I got this key ring and this is going to be my car. This is going to be what my car keys is on. And I think a year later, I bought my first car. My first car I bought for myself. And I was so happy and so overjoyed because I stuck with, if you want it, buy something for it.
Talk about manifestation coming full
Mm-hmm.
circle. My mom did the same thing literally a couple of weeks ago. She kept talking about a new car. And like honestly, she had been talking about a new car for a while, but she did not take the action to
Mm-hmm.
physically go do it. And I
Mm-hmm.
guess and I guess, but it's true what they say. Like when you'll know when it's the right time, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a difference from like doing things from like the ego opposed to like
Mm-hmm.
taking action from God. Like she literally woke up one day and act like it was a normal day. Like she texts us every morning, and by like maybe 1 o'clock, because I was on break because she disturbed my meditation, she called me crying. I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? I just bought a new 2023
Yeah.
something, and I was
2023.
yes, I was so happy
That's
because
beautiful.
I know how persistent she was with that. I know how much she had prayed about it. She talked about it, and she walked out of that dealership with a brand new car.
That's it, Mama. I love that for her.
Yes,
I love that for
and
her. And
still
I'm
won't let me drive it, but it's
proud.
okay. Still won't let me drive it, but it's cool. It's
Yes,
cool.
it's okay. She'll let you drive it soon. You just got to let her get comfortable with it first.
I know, but this conversation has been truly wonderful,
Yes.
and I really hope that it filled my cup. I really hope that maybe some part of it helped to bring your three rating up a little bit.
It really
Um,
did. It really did.
I'm glad, and I hope that someone that's listening that may be going through something that we talked about. I hope that this, if it doesn't fully bring you out of whatever you're going through, it is just a stepping stone to get
Yep.
you there.
Yep.
And I always say, hey, if it don't resonate with you, baby, that is okay. Share it with someone that you know it may come back to it later. Because
Yes.
forgiveness in itself is
It's
it's a
never
cycle.
ending. Yes, it's never ending.
It's a cycle. And I always think of it like, when you heal from one thing, there's always going to be something to unfortunately heal about. But when you do the work, I'm trying to tell you,
It's power in the work. It really
there's
is.
power in the name. I don't know why that song just like popped in my head. But
Yeah.
Awny, can you please tell everyone that's listening where they can find your amazing. And listen, when I be listening to your podcast, like I really be like zen the fuck out. Okay. Like I be
Really?
like, yes. Like, cause like a lot of times I'll listen to podcasts like when I'm working out, doing things around the house. But yours, no, I be like really feeling it. It's like a whole vibe. I don't know. Kind of like one of them like poetry night vibes. You sit
Mm-hmm.
you get in the audience and you just listen to the
Yeah.
person. That's how I be feeling. So
Okay. Okay. Well, you can find my podcast on pretty much every streaming site. I'm on Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and the list goes on. Amazon Music. I'm on all those things. So just look me up as All In with Awny. You can find me on Facebook as Awny K. Bennikin-Holmes, and then my podcast Facebook is All In with Awny, and then my podcast Instagram is _ All In with Awny with 3 Y's. And that's the same for my TikTok, I think. Yes, I think that's the same thing for my TikTok.
mhm.
So hit me up. I'm a life coach. I'm an author, motivational speaker, all those things. So if you want to do one-on-ones, I do not charge for those because I don't have my license as of yet. But hit me up and let's chat about it. Let's get to your new and your next.
Yes, let's buy the content. It is very, very amazing. Um, Thank you again for coming, my friend. And I
Thank
said I had something to say before we got off here, and this is the right time to say it. So, a couple of weeks ago, like before the holiday, like I was really sick. Like, I was having my ups and downs of my health like all
you.
last year. And this one day, actually, I was on bed rest because I had been out of work a couple of days. I had been really, really sick. I hadn't posted, on social media, nothing. Like just my immediate, intimate circle and family knew. And I was feeling bad, not just physically, but mentally. I was just
Mhm.
not doing well. And I was in bed one night, and I was just like, I'm just done. Wherever you want to take that, go with it. I was just completely done because I'm like, it's nothing is given. I can't seem to grasp my health to
Mhm.
completion. And I'm in bed just thinking about how to move forward with doing different things. And I get a notification on Facebook from Ani. And I think at the time you had just listened to a podcast episode, but it wasn't even the fact that you listened to the episode. It was just the words that you said.
Mhm.
And I want you to know that those words in that moment saved a part of me that was gone.
Oh,
And I truly, I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. And you're probably like, oh my God, if you're listening, why couldn't she just tell him over the phone? Like, no, because I didn't want to. I wanted to tell him now. But yeah, and I literally set up and I just was like, thank you, God. Because I prayed for something specific and God placed you right there
wow.
with those words.
Oh,
And
I'm a big crybaby.
listen, let it flow, let it flow.
Oh
And
my
the thing
goodness.
was, I had responded, and then even with your response, like you always say, like, I love you so much. And you always say, keep going. And at that moment, like you said, when a person asks you how you doing, you just let it out. I needed to hear that. And like
Wow.
you didn't know, but it's just the fact that I know that we've only known each other for a little bit, like almost a year, but I know that that's you. And I Thank you so much for just being you.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to say, can I say something? I wanted to tell you how proud I am of you because ever since we got connected, I think you started your podcast a little before me or a little after me, whichever. And ever since we've gotten connected, all I've seen was consistency. If you're not in season, you're still posting about it. And I'm like, dang, I need to get like her because I only post once a week and I have to get out of that and I have to kind of like get in the face of the people. But I just wanted to tell you how proud I am of you and how I admire your endurance and your resilience. Because not many people can get it's not hard discussing. I mean, it's not easy discussing, your past traumas or even helping someone navigate through their life when you're trying to navigate through yours. So again, keep going. God has way more in store for you and the Chronicles of a Virgo podcast. I'm like one of your biggest fans. I love you. I always listen to you. I even have my husband listen to you. He's like, "Did you listen to Shakita's podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah." Did you listen? Because it was so.
Oh,
Just know you have a friend forever. You have a supporter. I'm gonna always push you. I'm gonna always be behind you. If you need me to be on 100 more episodes, I'll be right there behind the mic, smiling with my cheesy face. But just keep going, Shakita. People out there are really benefiting from your voice. And they may not see you every week or they may not see a visual of you talking, but just to hear your voice can really soothe the things that's been tormenting them in their mind or in their spirit. So just keep going, you know.
yes, y'all. I am a big baby and I am crying. The mascara is running, child. Woo, thank you so much. Oh my God.
You
Thank you,
got me
thank
and I had to
you.
get you that.
At least it was in a good way.
Yes,
I will take that. I appreciate that.
yes,
And
yes.
listen, those words cut, but not in a bad way. So I really, whew, I appreciate you.
Yes.
I really do. We just had a whole moment that was so unplanned, but like that means a lot because, like you said, um, it is not easy speaking on a lot of things, right?
Mhm.
But I will always be honest. I will always be my authentic self and trust and believe there is preparation that goes into each episode that I'm speaking on something personal. And
Mhm.
sometimes I have contemplated, I'm like, am I sharing too much? Like, am I not sharing enough? And I was out one day a couple weeks ago on my break, just randomly. I was going to get some coffee, and I'm leaving the Royal Farms, and this lady that I've never seen a day in my life
Wow.
comes up to me and say, "Keep talking, keep speaking your truth." And I'm like, "Huh?" A lady I never seen. And it was like something you see on TV. Like, you're like, well, thank you. And then you turn around and they gone. Like, I promise you, it
Wow.
spooked me out. And I called my mom and she was like, wow, no, that's some powerful shit.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay. And at that moment, it's when I was thinking, like, do I be thinking too much? Should I say more? You be trying to figure out what are you supposed to do?
Hmm.
Is my message being received the right way?
Hmm.
And that was some confirmation that I needed. And again, I am lost for words, and I don't really get lost for words. I appreciate you
Yes.
and the husband. I appreciate you too, husband.
Yes. Yes.
And
We appreciate
the
you as well.
support, the love, the feelings, everything is very, very mutual. And
Hmm.
we are going to continue to ride this wave out wherever it takes us. How high we go, we're going to do this together. And yeah, let's
Hmm.
stick it out and support each other. I'm
Yes.
always gonna be 10 toes down, and soon I'm gonna get down there and see you.
And I'm gonna get
Come.
up there. We're gonna do
Okay,
some things. We have to collaborate
yes,
in person. So our
yes,
lives
yes.
can really like bounce.
We're
Yes.
gonna make it happen. All right, y'all. So we just had a whole full circle moment. I thought that I was ending leaving him at all. He done left me at all. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. So again, thank you for all of this. This conversation was truly, truly, truly wonderful. We will have plenty of more conversations like this or anything else, I'm sure, in the future. For anyone that is listening, please go follow Ani on all of his social medias. Listen to his podcast. I
Yeah.
promise you, your cup will be full, running over. You know, continue to tap in with me weekly with my content as well. If you're not following me on social media, please do so. I don't need to tell you where I'm at. All my links will be in the bottom. I'm sorry. I'm so lost in the sauce right now. But please go follow. Leave us both some reviews. We love you guys so, so very much. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And like Ani said, keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going. And peace out, y'all.